Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to break down episode 3 of She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. Jumping right in. It's titled The People vs. Emil Blonsky, which lays out how we're about to see his official trial. As we all probably guessed, it does end well, but will most likely set up some problems for Jen and others throughout the rest of the series. To begin these events, we catch up with Jen walking into the Department of Damage Control, much more confidently than before. The last time we saw her, she was reacting to the news that Abomination had actually gone outside the prison with Wong during the events of Shang-Chi. As cool as it would have been to hear that he was training for, say, like the Thunderbolts or just something else, Emil reveals that he was only there for Wong and his journey to becoming the Sorcerer Supreme. But the only way to truly sweep this under the rug is to speak with Wong himself. This leads us to finding him on LinkedIn, which has a few interesting things on it. Apparently he worked at Target for 9 years, and not just any Target, but one in Carmartage of all places. It also references his time as the librarian back in the first Doctor Strange film, as well as shows one of his connections is Bruce Banner. I'm not exactly sure why they need LinkedIn, but it's pretty cool to see. And speaking of Wong, we get a fourth wall break addressing his cameo and the multiple other ones that we'll see during the show. Last episode, we discussed how real time can pass during these breaks, especially after talking to Holloway and everything remained normal. However, this time she lets go of the wheel while driving and is seemingly fine. So maybe she just got really lucky? Now in the spotlight more than ever, people are coming forward online about Jen as She-Hulk. In almost another fourth wall fashion, the show basically calls out angry MCU fans with these comments and videos. Many of them state how they're just unhappy with the more female heroes, which is actually a real concern among many viewers before the show ever came out. On the other hand, some of them want to smash her, referring to the classic Hulk smash line. We can even see TikToks made about it all, which have appeared more throughout the Marvel projects lately. The other storyline of this episode is about a light elf who has been scamming people and pretending to be popular figures like Meg the Stallion. This not only leads to Meg being confirmed within the MCU, but even gives her multiple surprise appearances throughout the episode. And while trying to do research on the elf, on Pug's computer we can see an ad for Iron Man 3's shoe line once more, and another QR code taking you to a free She-Hulk comic. Similar to last episode, the news station has another tagline about Titania's courtroom outburst, this time simply stating her legal team is making everything go away. Also on the news, we can see a photo of Emil, which was taken straight from the 2008 Hulk film where he last appeared. Then we're introduced to Mallory Book, who could be seen in last week's end credits. And I also love how they paid attention to everyone's walking pace near Jen, and just how everyone has to walk that much faster to keep up with her. So when Wong does finally show up, he brings up memory wiping people. This is basically making fun of the events of Spider-Man No Way Home. Although Wong shouldn't remember that, it's a little confusing on what he does and doesn't remember. As he continues, he brings up the Shadow Dimension, which may be a reference to the Shadow Realm that we just saw in Thor: Love and Thunder. And we couldn't go without a Mirror Dimension callout, since that has been featured multiple times now anytime a sorcerer is around. Although I wasn't super interested in the Light Elf story, it definitely made me laugh when she shapeshifted into Pug, because seeing his character more is just always a good time. As with all Marvel heroes now, the question of if they're in the Avengers always comes out as it's one of the highest statuses you can get. Weirdly though, people are assuming that She-Hulk has just been rejected by them, which would be surprising considering there aren't many OG or on-planet Avengers anymore. In the comics, however, she has been kicked out of the Avengers before, for what I think was maybe too much partying and things like that. But talking about the comics, one of the reporters has an interesting line that brings up her actual origins with the Mafia. Rather than a car crash, she gets caught up with him in some dangerous ways that requires a blood transfusion from Bruce. As we pick back up with Emil's trial, we get a nice aerial shot of the DODC that shows it's kind of shaped like the Pentagon, proving how important it is to the world of the MCU. What's more interesting is that Emil can't truly speak from the heart, or be honest as he fumbles his words. This could be further proof that it's just all an act for him to get out. I'm sure we all caught during the trial involving the Light Elf that we get a direct quote from Thor Ragnarok when she says, "Asgard is not a place, it's a people," said by both Odin and Heimdall, which then leads the judge to full-on name-drop Thor. While trying to figure out their cases, Jen has a fourth wall break directly calling out the A and B storylines, which is a structure many TV shows follow. Personally, I really thought the Light Elf was going to tie the stories together, as her pretending to be all of the witnesses for Emil's trial. But I guess not. Ultimately, this leads to both cases being won, and Emil being released as long as he has an inhibitor similar to Bruce's that we saw in the season premiere. Nearing the end of the episode, we meet the Wrecking Crew, which consists of the Wrecker, obviously, Bulldozer, Pile Driver, and Thunderball. Jen jokes about them stealing from an Asgardian construction worker, but they don't deny it. Even funnier is how they all have their branded shirts with the letter W on it. We found out their goal is to try and get more samples of her blood for someone, but can't while she's hooked out. I wonder if the boss could be the leader, who was teased in that 2008 Hulk film. He may have even helped Abomination fuse his mind fully, and that's how he achieved it much faster than Bruce did without all the technology. Like with each new episode, some more artwork is added. The new outros now consist of Emil leaving prison with his multiple partners chasing him, the picture sent to Wong to get his attention, and Dennis on a date with the Light Elf pretending to be Meg the Stallion. Then what might be the best post-credit scene we've ever seen consists of Meg hiring Jen as her lawyer, along with some impressive CGI twerking. Overall, this episode was pretty good, if not the best so far. It's definitely set up some stakes with Emil being released, and everyone prying into Jen's life as she becomes more popular. But that's everything I've found in episode 3 of She-Hulk Attorney at Law. Comment your thoughts or if there's anything I missed, because I'd love to hear it. And that's that. See ya!